So would you mind introducing yourself and saying what you do?
Yeah, hi Greg. I'm Steve Cardno. I'm the LCN Plus Project Manager in London. The LCN Plus is the London Cycle Network Plus, which is a 900 kilometre bike network all across the city of London. We have masterminded a route assessment methodology called the CRISP process. That stands for Cycle Route Implementation and Stakeholder Plan. The great thing about that is that we go and ride all the routes with stakeholders. The stakeholders tell us what the problems are, and they also help us to identify what the solutions to those problems should be as well. So the CRISP study process is a 4-stage process. The first stage is assessment of existing conditions for cycling and existing traffic problems. There's quite a lot of data collection, data analysis involved in that. We then prepare a report which we send to stakeholders. They can disseminate that information. Stage 2 is all about going on rides with the stakeholders. We ride the routes. We come up with a series of strategies to improve conditions for cycling. Stage 3 is writing another report which summarises all the recommendations from the bike ride. We then meet with the stakeholders again just to make sure that we've got everything in the report, and at that point we just make some final changes and we issue what we call a final report. That goes to all the stakeholders and all the funding bodies, and then we can actually get on with improving the network.
So when you think about a stakeholder, is it kind of a neighborhood or businesses or public health officials, or who would you think of as a natural stakeholder for your project?
Well, our biggest stakeholder are cyclists. So in London we have the London Cycle Campaign, which they represent cyclists in London. They have about 30,000 members, and they always attend every single route inspection that we do. There's various other stakeholders involved, including bus route managers, road safety engineers, the traffic police, traffic cops often come on our route rides.
Excellent.
As well.
And what are some of the surprising solutions that have happened by involving stakeholders?
Well, everybody expects us to put in hundreds of kilometres of bike lanes, but in actual fact we don't put in a lot of bike lanes. One of the biggest things that we do is try and reduce traffic speeds. So we have a big initiative called 20-mile-per-hour zones. We do a lot of that type of work, bringing the traffic speed right down. Also reducing volume of traffic by using traffic management measures at junctions and things like that.
And so when you think of a 20-mile-an-hour zone, is it a corridor, or do you ever do a whole area, like maybe like in a home zone style fashion?
Yeah, it would be an area approach. For example, we might treat a whole neighbourhood, except for maybe there may be one or two principal roads that run through that neighbourhood, and maybe they need to remain at 30 miles per hour speed limit. But the sort of less important streets where people live, it's more about improving the ambience of those streets so we can bring the speeds right down.
And how do residents react when you slow down their street?
Well, they're delighted, you see, because their children can then play in the street again, and they're not so worried about their children being knocked over by a speeding motorist.
All right, well, thank you for all you're doing in London.
That's a pleasure, Greg. Thank you for coming.